welcome back to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And this is a Places We Want to Go, Whitby.
Yeah.
Which is in Yorkshire, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I think we haven't done a Places We Want to Go in a while.
We haven't done one in ages.
Yeah.
This is the first one.
At least this whole month.
It feels strange getting back into it, really. But yeah, I mean, Whitby has always been one of our destinations of choice because, for the obvious reasons, you know.
For the obvious. What are the obvious reasons?
Because we're big Dracula fans, aren't we, me and you?
Well, I
dress up as Dracula every day.
I first had to reach... what an image. I first had to read Dracula for some class in college. I don't remember what or why, but I was fascinated with it. And as much as like Dracula's castle in Transylvania or wherever is like interesting, I always associate Dracula and vampires more with England since then.
Well,
so it's like
Transylvania, you know, I never really, I haven't read Dracula before.
No, we just started
reading it now. You know, I haven't read Bram Stoker's Dracula, so we're just reading it, and we haven't quite finished it yet. But yeah, before that, I'd seen like the 1958 one maybe once or twice before, the Hammer horror.
I don't think I've ever seen it. No.
It's Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a classic. It's a classic, yeah. And I mean they've redone it several times.
Yeah.
You know, the story is like being done to death, really.
I've seen plenty of vampire things, but the only Dracula thing that I've seen is I've read Bram Stoker's Dracula. We're reading it again. We've actually been reading it for ages, you guys. It's difficult to find time to do that, but and then I've seen the movie with Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, that's who it is.
And Winona Ryder.
That wasn't filmed in Whitby at all, though, was it?
Probably not. I'm not sure where it was filmed, but
because I mean, if you don't know the story, Dracula comes from Transylvania. He's the Count.
Yeah.
He ends up in Whitby because he's trying to get to London because he's bought property there.
Yeah.
And he can't get to London because of this storm, so he ends up in Whitby, which is a town. It's just a
everybody knows about him in Transylvania, so he's got to get out of there now.
Yeah, everybody knows. Oh, he's terrible man. So he's like, oh, I've got to sell up here, go to England and start afresh.
Yeah.
And he was planning to do this in London, where there was plenty of young girls, I guess, you know, he was ready to get there.
Yeah.
But he ends up in Whitby, which
is where?
It's a seaside town on the east coast of Yorkshire, so he's quite far north.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can imagine... Northeast,
right?
yeah, on the east coast, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, that's kind of like, you know, the landscape it's pretty perfect, you know, for this kind of story.
Yeah.
Because it's got the abbey on top of the hill.
Cliffs.
It's got cliffs, it's got the 199 steps, you know, which I think he name checks all these places in the book, you know, because Lucy Westenra lives there and Mina, I think, as well. Mm-hmm. She comes to stay.
Yeah.
And, you know, the abbey is like, oh, you know, and the St. Mary's churchyard, you know, because people go there and they instantly go, oh, where's Dracula buried? You know?
Yeah.
As if, like, he's, you know, like a real person.
Yeah.
Like,
where's his castle?
Where's his grave?
Where's his castle that he bought, you know?
Yeah.
His house that he bought over here.
Yeah.
And they do actually have a place in Whitby, don't they? That they consider to be Dracula's castle?
I think I don't
or no.
No, I mean I think they're just talking about the abbey and the St. Mary's Church. They're just talking about because his castle was in London, you know.
Oh, okay.
That's where he was trying to originally get to.
Yeah.
And then for whatever his ship was, the schooner he was on was taken off course into the storm, and he was a dog.
Yes.
And he washed ashore and he's just running around and so that dog, you know.
Yeah.
That stray dog, where's he gone?
Everybody on the ship is dead, but,
yeah,
but
the dog,
yeah.
And so, like they had, the St. Mary's Church, because apparently when they finally got, Van Helsing finally got Dracula, he was buried in St. Mary's churchyard.
Oh, really?
So
that's funny.
People go there and they're like, I've got to go see his grave.
Yeah.
And of course, there's goth weekends and stuff. That's where all the gothic lovers descend to, because it's like, oh yeah, this is where it all happened. This is where the scene of the crime.
But it looks like such Whitby now. Looks like such a gorgeous little like village, basically, right?
I pulled up a little photo here.
I mean, would you consider it a town or a village?
It's like a village. Yes, it's a town. It is, but it looks like a little village. It's any like English coastal village. It's all like, like the ports and stuff.
You know what I don't want there to be though when I get there?
Is McDonald's.
I know.
I don't want to.
Oh no!
Sink your fangs into this.
Oh,
there is.
God, way to ruin it.
No, there's. I mean, I haven't looked it up. I mean, I've just looked up the points of like historical interest, but I'm sure there is a Dracula themed pub.
I'm sure
themed restaurant.
No,
like
but I was gonna say I don't want to see like Asda and Tesco. Like I want everything to look very.
Where do you think
like,
Dracula's gonna get his supply?
I want to see everything look very like Victorian. I want it to be foggy. I want to like climb up the hillside and just everything down in the village is just like in a fog and you can see ships coming in, and I don't want to see anything modern in Whitby. Like, get it out of there.
Well, from this photo from 2011, it kind of looks.
It looks pretty, yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty, and you've got the remains of the old.
I mean,
abbey
not
up
a
there.
McDonald's arches to be seen.
Well, we can see arches, but they're the Whitby Abbey arches.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's so menacing, isn't it? Up on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an abbey, but it still looks very, like, powerful.
It's like very evil is up there. Evil.
It does. It looks a bit, like, evil and, like...
Evil's up there.
Spooky, and it's...
Evil.
And it looks huge compared to the town, which is, like, down on the actual shore. And it's just up on this hill, and it looks really... it's just ruins, isn't it?
It's ruins. It's one of the first things that you think about when discussing the landmarks. Mm-hmm. The original abbey was destroyed during the Vikings invasion.
Oh, okay.
And was later rebuilt in 1077. So many of the abbey's Gothic features. Huh? So it's got Gothic features and that can be spotted amongst the ruins of it,
Oh my God, it looks so amazing.
Yeah, and it's like you go up there, and it is like it's very haunted. It's very
Dracula. And they talk in Dracula about being at the top of the hill, don't they? And like looking down. Yeah.
It was a key whaling port as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So in the early 18th century, and there's like the whale jawbone arch.
Oh.
Which was replaced because it started to decay.
Yeah.
And it was replaced in 2002 as a result of the original starting to decay. The bones present today were donated by Whitby's sister city of Anchorage, Alaska, to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the relationship. Because Anchorage is another whaling port too, isn't it? Well, it used to be.
I think so, yeah.
In the 1800s. So yeah, you've got that thing.
And where was that? Where is this? The whale. I mean,
it's down by the quay,
by the quay.
The quay. Yes. So it's like it's there pretty much as you come ashore. I mean,
okay.
They're huge whale jawbones, so
Yeah. It's on the shore, or it's in like.
Well, it's on the quay. It's like I don't know exactly.
Means.
It's on the dock in the dock.
So the ships have to go through it, or what?
No. It's.
Because I'm imagining this huge like Jonah and the whale type jawbones, and the ships have to go through it to pass into the city. Like what is it? Something out of Game of Thrones. And they have some sort of big thing in the ocean.
It's on the
like
North
that.
Terrace, it says here.
Oh, okay.
Which is by Whitby Beach.
It looks like
These are them.
It looks like the arch in St. Louis, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the huge whale jaw bones. I mean, no, ships don't have to go through it. That would be pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Very Game of Thrones.
Very Game of Thrones-ish. But, the originals were just starting to decay because it's like, they're actual whale
It's a natural thing.
And so they were replaced.
Gosh, yeah.
But yes.
I guess the sea air and everything, probably.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's quite a like, it's got warm summers. It's quite relative. I mean, it's a very popular seaside resort. It's like tourists flock there to have a great time. Before even knowing about Dracula's connection to Whitby, I would never have imagined, oh yeah, that sounds like a place Dracula would stop. It's like, it's quite a, like, it's like, oh, Whitby, because I was born in a seaside town. So I know it's kind of like, it's always filled with holidaymakers. Everyone's having a laugh, ice cream, fish and chips, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not somewhere you'd think like, oh yeah, and also there's Dracula. He comes here and he does his thing. He kills people and
he Bram Stoker, though, he was there, wasn't he? Was he living there when he wrote that? I mean, why did he choose Whitby?
He stayed in Whitby.
Okay, he was on holiday.
He was on holiday there. And he thought, I hate these people. I wish I could just, drain them of their blood or something.
Oh my gosh.
Because he arrived, so that's what made him like think like, oh yeah, his first entry into England should be at Whitby, because it's kind of random, you think about it, it's like
random.
Everyone goes to London when they go to England,
I mean,
or Dover,
yes.
Their first port of call is Southampton.
You've
Dover,
probably never heard of Whitby. You know what I mean?
Where's that?
Without Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yorkshire seaside town, I mean, Whitby to me, right? When someone says Whitby to me, I think of Heartbeat. Oh, that old show.
Was it set in Whitby?
No, it was, but they were always mentioning. They were always mentioning Whitby. They were always mentioning going to Whitby, as like a holiday,
Oh yeah.
And Whitby, and to me, it's like it's a seaside town, It's renowned for its fish and chips as well.
Oh. We definitely have to go there.
So I can imagine, like, there's probably a Dracula's fish fry,
Oh my god.
Dracula's, fish and chip shop or whatever,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Where, they have it like, cashing in on the connection and everything,
Mm-hmm.
What other people don't realize that Captain Cook has a connection to the area. He did his apprenticeship. And he was, we were talking
Captain
about
Cook, just for anybody who has
James
no idea
Cook.
who
He was
that is.
18th century explorer and Royal Navy captain who was famous for discovering Australia. He discovered it, like Columbus discovered America. He discovered Australia. Yeah. Even though there was people already living there.
Right.
So he discovered Australia, and I think he discovered Hawaii too, or he marked Hawaii.
Oh,
that's where he eventually died.
Yes.
He was killed in Hawaii, but he was apprenticed to a ship owner in Whitby, because he was from like North Yorkshire somewhere himself.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah. And of course the 199 steps.
Okay, yeah, what is the 199 steps all about?
They lead up to St. Mary's Church and the famous Whitby Abbey. And they're an iconic landmark in Whitby. In the novel, in Dracula novel, Dracula ascended the steps in the form of a dog. As we know, he came up shore and everything. Mm-hmm. Steps have been present for hundreds of years and have played an important role in many residents' funeral requests. Many locals' final request was for their coffin to be carried up the steps to St. Mary's Church rather than be taken on the parallel road by hearse. It is said that the wooden benches... That's like the very
old-fashioned thing, probably.
Yeah, it's said that the wooden benches were originally used as resting points for pallbearers. So, people carrying them up there,
Oh,
and I'm sure people, once Dracula came out, was like, I want that,
Yeah.
Get my coffin carried up,
I mean, so the 199 steps were literally just how the people in the town used to be able to get up to the, the cathedral.
Before they built a bypass.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah. And those benches, I guess, are the ones that were mentioned in in the book.
Yeah, because I mean, he would be sitting up with that old guy, old geezer.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
Just some of the old men that she met.
Yeah, and they were speaking in a very Yorkshire dialect.
Yes.
You couldn't, like when we're reading it, they've written it down like phonetically.
Yes.
Well, not really even.
Sort of,
yeah. But it's you've got to do the Yorkshire accent to talk like it.
Yeah.
And one of the old geezers is like, oh yeah, evil's here or whatever, and he eventually got done in by Dracula, didn't he?
I don't know.
I think they found him on a bench, didn't they? And his neck was broken or something. I think it was one of... You don't remember that?
I don't remember that part.
And they were like, oh, what happened to him? He must have had a heart attack and, broken his neck or something. And they were just like, something horrified him, and he must have been looking at death itself, which is Dracula.
Yeah.
And of course, besides Dracula, there's myths and rumours relating to witchcraft in Whitby too. One of the most famous stories is of Mad Maggie, who lived at the bottom of the 199 steps. Maggie was notorious for announcing people's nearing death, and she was never far wrong either. She also foretold that upon her own death, a devastating storm would hit Whitby that would result in many sailors' deaths and part of the town being flooded.
I mean,
legend has it that when her body was discovered, such a storm struck the town,
oh, yeah.
That's when Dracula came. Because he came in a storm, didn't he?
It's like, is that such a big, off-the-wall prediction in a town that has a port and that has a,
I mean,
on a seaside town.
It's like sailor superstitions, really, isn't it? It's a sailor, you live in a seaside town. One like Whitby or whatever, and it's always going to be like, oh yeah, it's going to be sailor superstitions, like, oh, can't walk on Tuesdays because of this, and Mad Maggie used to live down there, and she used to predict. She was never wrong either, Mad Maggie. I think she was a witch.
Yeah,
she surely was a witch because she used to live at the bottom of the 199 steps and used to predict people's deaths, and they died. They died, they did, and she was right, and she predicted her own in the storm and everything.
But I mean, if you live in a seaside town, you can bet that at some point there's probably going to be a big storm,
Yes.
It's like that's
there's gonna be a storm.
There's gonna be a big
storm's coming.
Bunch of sailors are gonna die.
Bunch of sailors gonna die.
The town's going to be flooded.
Town's going to be flooded, I tell you.
Yeah.
And, it'll all happen when I die. Yeah, because she was Mad Maggie. She was from down south, you see.
What's
Mad
she
Maggie,
doing up there?
She found her way up from there. She's like Dracula, everybody knew her down south, so she had to move somewhere else, didn't she? So what better place than Whitby? And of course, we talked about this before. The fish and chips are absolutely insane. I mean, we know a few people on social media who live in Yorkshire who say, I go to Whitby just for the fish and chips,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I fly to France just for the French toast, It's just like, it's like Whitby, it's like seaside towns all over the UK.
Yeah.
This is why I always say this in, like, when we talk about British versus American things and people coming to Britain for the first time, what should they do, what shouldn't they do? And, so don't go to a pub and order fish and chips. Order one from, like, go to a seaside resort and order one from, like, a stand, or a shop there that's on the seafront. Because, it's not just because it's fresh fish from the sea. But because it's just, like, the atmosphere, it's just a better cooking process.
Yeah.
You're not in a stuffy pub where you're supposed to be drinking, and they've just breaded cod from, like the supermarket and, chips that were like, bunged in the oven or whatever. These are actually done on frying ranges, and
now,
hand battered with, like, love.
When you were...
It's God's fish, I tell you. It's God's fish.
When you were researching Whitby, do they have some sort of pirate connection?
Well, it's any seaside town does in Britain.
Does it really? I always associate pirates with just
Cornwall.
The Southwest. Yeah. So, like, any seaside town has. Yeah, because apparently they've got like pirate tours of the Whitby coast.
Pirate tour,
and that just sounds like something that would be so great.
I mean, because any seaside town has a pirate connection. I mean, Cornwall obviously more because they associate smugglers, the smuggling operations that used to happen during like the 17th century.
Yeah.
You know, with they were smuggling brandy in from France and stuff, you know, contraband and stuff, and they'd be putting in the coves and stuff, and you know, there's so many places called Smuggler's Cove or the Smuggler's Rest, and so they were like, oh, they were pirates too.
Yeah.
They went, you know, and when the heat got too much for the whatever they called it, the militiamen or whatever, the customs men, it was like, oh, we can't live in Cornwall anymore, lads. We gotta go, you know. We gotta go to the Caribbean. I was gonna say,
how come all of your people all have the same accent?
Can't live in Cornwall anymore, lads. Too much. Gosh. We gotta go now to the Caribbean and make our fortunes there.
Yeah.
You know.
You mentioned St. Mary's Church.
Yep.
And graveyard.
Yeah.
And supposedly that is where Dracula's buried?
That's supposedly where they think he's buried, yeah. Okay. And they always go, where's his grave? And it's like, he doesn't have one. You know, he's not a real character.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, he is. He came to my room last night, tried to get in. He was flapping against the window. I heard him.
Yes.
I'm sure some bed and breakfasts in Whitby do that, you know, like you know, someone comes to stay there. Oh, they're a big Dracula fan. Can you just go and knock the window at 2:00 in the morning or whatever, you know, just to wake my wife up because she, you know, freak her out a bit, you know.
Yes. I'm just quickly looking through to see if there is any in London they have the London dungeons.
Yeah.
It's like surely in Whitby they have some sort of Dracula experience, but surprisingly it doesn't. I think
they've resisted it because they can't afford that much tourism in that tiny place.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, you know, you don't, as a writer like Bram Stoker, he wasn't thinking, oh, you know, I shouldn't write about this because it could get really big.
Well, no, of course not.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really impressed by that actually because it's oh wait, I spoke too soon. You can visit the Abbey Steps Tea Room for a Nosferatu freak shake.
Nosferatu freak shake. I mean,
once you go up the 199 steps to the Abbey, the only way back is down. So why not treat yourself after burning all those calories? If you're looking for a Dracula-themed cafe in Whitby, then look no further than the Abbey Steps Tea Room. In here, you can treat yourself to an actual blood bag, spooky cakes, or to one of their famous Nosferatu freak shakes. They have many on the menu, including a zombie brain shake, Dracula shake, and many more. Oh my god, you guys. And the picture is like Dracula. Looks like you're in Dracula's dungeon or something like that. Like it's all... Now this is the kind of thing that
someone needs to buy a house in Whitby and just redo it.
No, here you go. Number 6. This is all coming from Third Eye Traveler website. Number 6 on this list is check into Bats and Broomsticks Gothic Guest House.
I mean, they couldn't resist. They couldn't resist it.
I knew it if I just did a simple Google search.
I resisted doing this because I knew that I didn't want. I just wanted to talk about the.
Well, yes,
the things.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's into Dracula, obviously.
People just want to go for fish and chips. I don't want to be Dracula'd. Okay, mate.
Whitby looks like an absolutely gorgeous
Italianate type port town.
You think Italianate?
I always call those kind of things Italianate.
Why? Just because they have that kind of like red roof and roof,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's very European. So let's just say that European.
To me, it looks like a cute little English village.
A little English village, like they have in like Port Isaac is in Cornwall.
Yes,
Except they don't have Dracula in Port Isaac. They have Doc Martin.
No. Have we ever talked about Port Isaac on this?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, Doc Martin.
Okay, getting back to the Bats and Broomsticks guest house. If you're looking for a spooktacular place to stay while in Whitby, why not check out the UK's best Gothic guest house, Bats and Broomsticks? The owners have spent 20 years to perfect their lair, and you can stay in one of their artisan 4-poster bedrooms that are a work of art. They actually look quite nice and spooky, except for the bed is like big spider webs. It's like
they're catering to the Gothic community, you know, that want to come there and, you know, they want to wear their dark lipstick and look Gothic,
and their dyed black
hair. And
for Dracula fans, I would request to stay in the Dracula room that not only has lots of vampire themed decor, but also the perfect view of Whitby Abbey. I stayed in the Green Man room, which was gorgeous and had a Celtic theme. Don't forget to look in your wardrobe where you'll find garlic and a wooden stake and hammer in case of any vampire
Well, I thought they
attacks.
wanted to see Dracula, so why bother trying to drive him away?
Number 7,
the Van Helsing room.
Sink your teeth into a Whitby Jet Black ice cream at Trillo's.
Whitby Jet was really famous in...
What's that?
It's it's a product of decomposition of wood from millions of years ago. Like commonly the wood of trees, you know. Okay. And it's kind of like diamonds, you know. It's just like something that's been formed. Like it's kind of low-grade coal.
Okay.
It's like what becomes coal, basically, you know. And it was really popular in like the Romans mined it and the Victorians mined it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
And it was fashionable in the Victorian years as like pieces of jewelry because it was like, you know, you could carve out of it. You could carve it into things and stuff, and it's black and everything. But yeah, I guess it just fell out of fashion. But I mean, Whitby Jet was was fashionable because it came from Whitby, you know.
Yeah.
So
like Murano glass.
Yes.
From Murano, Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh,
that kind of thing.
That's cool. So apparently they're using it now to make ice cream. Jet black ice cream.
I mean, that's just like...
I'd rather have a piece of jewelry. That sounds gorgeous.
I mean, they're not using actual jet to make ice cream. I think it's just dyed black ice cream.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that would be terrible. That would be like eating ice cream that's flavored
it says,
like coal.
The black color gets everywhere. It dyed my yellow coat black. Haha. And stained my hands and face. It's probably charcoal.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Because, I mean, I don't think it's safe to eat.
What? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like it would be. Number 8 is Be Spooked by the Dracula Experience. The
Another Dracula experience. Nothing about fish and chips on this.
The award-winning Dracula. I Googled Dracula things. These are all Dracula, okay? The award-winning Dracula Experience in Whitby sits on 9 Marine Parade along the harbor. The attraction that has been here for the past 15 years aims to retell the story of Dracula through its haunted house-style rooms. So it's like the London Dungeon kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, I thought Whitby would try and avoid that kind of like thing, you know. But I mean, yeah, it looks like okay. So if you guys have ever been to London and been to Baker Street, on Baker Street there is like the 221B
Sherlock Holmes Museum.
Yeah, it's the Sherlock Holmes Museum,
and they've got like this actor playing a cop.
In the doorway,
like a Victorian cop or whatever. Yeah, you know.
This looks sort of the similar. Same thing, only Dracula.
And it's like, yeah, it's like
I knew, because you can't have a super famous thing like that set in a place and the place not take advantage and like create gimmicky type things.
They try to, but it's like it's a tiny place. You know, it's a tiny town.
Yeah,
it's not like it can survive so many tourists, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the other Dracula things are the things we've already mentioned. The things that would be more interesting to do, to be honest. Like, the steps and the, all of that, yeah. So, anyway, I know I just wanted to Google that because I just knew.
just the evil that they're going to unleash on Whitby.
I just knew,
Like Dracula.
But anyway, I think that pretty much
sums it all up. Sums up Whitby. We love Whitby.
Let us know if you've. We love it. I mean, we haven't been there, but
we will go there, and we will love it. We will love it. We'll dress like Dracula.
Places we'll
eat
love.
fish and chips. And it'll be lovely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Let us know if you guys have ever been to Whitby.
Yeah, if you've been to Whitby, tell us all about it in the comments.
Yeah, some of the things that you've seen, or if you're a Dracula fan, or if you just went there for the ice cream or the fish and chips, or,
fish and chips.
Whatever, yeah. I think it would be cool to get a boat from some other seaside town and enter Whitby from the boat,
You just want to do it like Dracula.
Yes.
In a storm.
Yes. No, not in a storm.
It's got to do it in a storm. And the boat you're on has got to be all dead. People are all dead on there.
No. Oh,
so
my
there you
gosh.
go, so yeah. You can have a dog that just jumps ashore and is never seen again.
Anyway, if we haven't totally put you off of Whitby or us with talking about all this nonsense, then thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
As always, we appreciate your support.
Yes.
Be sure to check us out on social media. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we will talk to you guys next time.
Talk to you next time, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.